Of course, the days are getting longer but cloudy, so hopefully I'll get this all in due time. We're heading toward the nursery part of the gardens, and you know, they have some neat little names for the paths. This one is called Hemlock Square. And you can see the trunk of one of the hemlocks. As I said, these trees were in here probably before the azaleas. I would guess they could be 70, 75 years old. But good shade for azaleas and rhododendron. Now there's looks like a dead arborvitae. They don't last forever. But that girth on that has got to be, I don't know, 80 years old. It's older than I am. That's pretty old. Here we're coming up on some holly. And again, this would be all ablaze in the springtime. Come in around Mother's Day. And look around, take some pictures. We'll certainly have a good video come springtime. Come in here again, take some pictures of Kinney Gardens. I've got plenty of pics, and I think I'll take a video. A lot of moss in here. Soil is acidic, which is necessary. Look at the buds on this rhododendron. Again, that looks like a white or a pink because of the more pale foliage. With darker red, I'd guess it a red. But it's hard to pin these down. Here we have wildflower walk, quote unquote. And some of the close away, again, it smells like bread when it blooms in the springtime. And not a bad smell. That's something to expect. Now here we have some premature blooming on a looks like an orange rhododendron. It might be multicolor. Since we've had extended fall here. There's the bloom right there. And looks like one came out already. So it's multicolor. And it's orange with a little pink, little peach in it. Nice looking color scheme. The bud, when it's opening, appears to be orange, orange-red. There's some over there that's darker color. That's a pleasant surprise. We've got quite a few buds on these. Obviously an early bloomer in the spring, and there are some, one particular nursery that I can think of in Alabama that are breeding azaleas that bloom twice. They bloom in the spring and in the fall. And I would expect that very soon they'll have ever blooming, just like they do that in the pansies. Now this is the nursery. not the efficient operation that you would see at commercial nurseries, but lined out stock nonetheless. Tiny little plants started from cuttings and then put in the ground, and here you see the little twigs, and then they're taken from here and they replace the ones that are sold. Usually the medium-sized stuff is sold, although we got some leftover medium-sized stuff again. Right here, just beyond the 2-year-old seedings, and that stock would be about 4 or 5 years old, and probably could be sold right from the beds. We call these beds. And when they're usually put out as young cuttings, hence the rows here, and you can see the wood used for demarcation here. Usually they're put under lathing to keep it partially shaded, because that's what rhododendron and azalea really love, partial shade. And so the lathing fits that purpose. As the sun moves across, parts of the plant are shaded at different times. Here we see all those little tiny plants. We call that lining out stock. It's ready to be put. In this case, they'll put it right out into the gardens. In commercial nurseries, they would put it out in rows to allow for tilling in between, cultivating in between the rows. Whereas here you can see it just fights with the weeds. However, you got a lot of peat, it's not difficult to keep the weeds out. So that about wraps it up, so to speak, here at Kinney Gardens in Kingston, Rhode Island.